I guess just kind of what have the past few days been like since that big win?
It's been like just great vibes, good vibes with just the people around campus, like with our team. Um, it was my first experience ever experiencing anything like that, so it's been a really joyful couple of days for me. But at the end of the day, it's just like when we take a bad loss, like we gotta forget about it and we gotta move on to the next. Like of course, it's gonna be a momentum thing. We build a momentum, but at the same time, the past, we enjoyed it, we celebrated. Now, we on to the next.
What's it like for both of you guys being a part of a court storming? What kind of goes through your mind whenever you see people running at you?
I don't know. It kind of felt surreal. I've only seen like one other time that it's happened, and so like when it all happened, it's kind of just like, it's just a moment of joy, like for everybody, just knowing like all the time we put in, like not only did we do it for ourselves, but we did it for our fans, like we did it for the community. So it was just a big, joyful moment for everybody.
Definitely, just the feedback off of him with, the lights going off and they turn back on and now everybody on the court. It's just like, it's something that I'll never forget. It's short term, it's just something I'll never forget.
What's going to be important for you guys going down to Waco?
To go out with the same intensity. We came out against Iowa State, we guarded, we defended, we played as a team, we played as one. And it's just going to be the same thing going to Baylor, taking the things that we did well and, doing them even better than the things that we can get better at, going into Waco and just fixing those things, just getting better.
Definitely. Leading up to the Iowa State game, we had a couple of great practices leading up to it. We started the week strong. Today was a great practice. Tomorrow we'll get in and have another really good practice and just prepare for Baylor. Different situation, different team, but at the same time, like Rob said, we're going in with the same mindset, doing the things that we did well, continue to get better at those, and the things that we didn't do as well. Continue to critique those things, screw them up, get them a little tighter, and just be ready for the next one.
How did, for both of y'all, when y'all watched the film back, what stood out to you? Anything surprise you that maybe you're not able to appreciate during the game that you're able to sort of notice when you watch the film back?
I don't think nothing really surprised us. I think we could tell as we were on the floor. It just felt like we were all connected, even defensively, like we were helping each other. It wasn't like anybody was lost, like we were all on the same page. When somebody would rotate, we knew that we had the backside help because we were talking, we were communicating. So I don't think it was anything that surprised us. It was just being able to see it on film and just recognizing like, this is what it looks like we can, like this is what it looks like we can do this, and just continue to like do the same thing, continue to build on it.
Definitely, we know what we're capable of. We know what we're capable of. We know what we can do. Just watching on film gave us another extra, emphasis on the team that we can be in the team that we're striving to be. But Rob hit it right on the head with everything he said.
Have y'all had a game, especially defensively, where y'all felt like y'all were on the same page as much as Iowa State, or was this kind of the furthest along y'all felt in that aspect?
No, I feel like it's been plenty of games where we showed how good we can be, especially at home. We showed how really good we can be. Like early on, we had good defensive showings against Houston. The first time we played against Tech, like we had both of those teams on the rope, which is a couple of the top teams in our league. So we definitely showed that we could defend at a high level. It's just being able to do it consistently and doing it on an everyday basis.
Kind of piggyback off what he said. Like I think we've had many games where we've shown like how good we can be defensively. I think that we just came out and we really did it 40 minutes. Like that was 40 minutes of good defense, and that was just the biggest thing. I think we've had multiple games where we've shown that we can do it, and we did it for 20, we did it for 30. I think against Iowa State we had 40 minutes of great connected defense, and that was the difference.
Khalil, you seem to have really ingrained yourself in the university here. I saw you at the women's game last night. You couldn't walk 4 steps without hugging somebody or dapping somebody up. Did that aspect surprise you coming from New York all the way here in small town Oklahoma? Did that aspect of it surprise you, the community that you've seemed to have got yourself into?
I tell everybody this. That was one of the big reasons for me coming here in the first place. You could just be walking down the street, say hello to somebody, and they'll ask you, how's your day going? Are you okay? And it's other people that recognize you. Like I was at, me and Rob, we was at brunch the other day. Some nice young lady, they came by and they said, yo, congrats on the game. We're still rooting for you guys. You guys got it. So you know, having that in the back of our heads, we're doing it more for them, and we're not just only doing it for us, so to speak, in a way. But I mean, I love it. The community around here is wonderful. You know, I'm a people's person. I try to, you know, be as connected as much as possible to the community, especially the people that, you know, do a lot of the different things behind the scene that we may not always get to see. But, you know, we really appreciate it. Well, I really appreciate it. I know Rob has probably another story, but I appreciate it.
How much better has Arturo made you, and have you made Arturo, do you think, going against him in practice?
Yeah, I see him swiping, no swiping. He had 7 steals last night. So, you know, just going up against him every day, he makes sure that you know, you on your P's and Q's, and he makes sure that, you know, you're always locked in. Because if you play around, you know, he gonna take the ball, or, you know, just, and then, you know, just learning different techniques that he has on the defensive end, as well as me, you know, because I'm a little older than him. So just me, you know, teaching him how to, you know, be more of a point guard and learn how to run the team, like, you know, make sure your defense makes your offense, but at the same time learning how to talk to different people and learning just, you know, how to lead. And he's been doing a wonderful job. Wonderful job.
For both of you guys, what did you think? You know, we're not used to seeing a Boo shoot that many threes. I gotta ask, what did y'all think of that? Him to hit 3 of 5.
Boo has a clip. We see it every day in practice. I mean, that didn't surprise me. He works on it, especially, you know, I'm super close with Boo, so like when I'm in the gym, I see Boo on the other end. Like, I see what he works on, I see what he does on a day-to-day basis. And it's just like, he just let the world see it. We've been knowing Boo has a clip. So when he started shooting them, feed the high hand. Get him up, Boo. Like, we're here for it. So it wasn't no surprise to us.
Definitely, you know, his sweet spot is at the top of the key. So once he see one goes in, you know, he'll start to find a little rhythm, and once that gets going, it's hard to stop that man. So, you know, we was really happy for him. He was really, you know, intuitive into the game. And yeah, I seen the game he had, 7 for 11, 3 for 5, 3, 8 for 8 from the free throw line. So, you know, he's really been locked in with, you know, making his shot, showing people that he's not only inside the paint force, but he can also step out and stretch the floor.
Did he, early on, like in last offseason, did he struggle to either make those shots or maybe even feel comfortable taking them? I was surprised. I was looking back at what he's done before this year. I think he'd only attempted like 6. So it's like, it's unusual for him to have the chance to shoot those. So what was he like early on in the offseason?
He was always a workaholic. He always worked on it. I think I want to give credit to Coach Lutz in that aspect. He instills us with confidence. From day one, he always told us, believe in ourselves, but believe in the team also. What we work on, we shoot 3, we make 300 a day, and he just makes sure that we're confident in what we do. So if you work on it and you feel me, you're confident in it, you get in the game and you shoot it. And Boo got in the game and he's been shooting them and he's been making them. So it's just an aspect to his work ethic, his confidence, and the confidence that Coach Lutz has instilled in us.
Definitely. Like you said, with the 300 club, you know, that's big. And then just as a basketball player, once you really consistently work on somebody, you get confidence. You build your confidence from, you know, working out and repetition, and you seeing it going in while, you know, nobody's there. So, yeah, he's been working on it. And this is something that, you know, I think he's shooting the highest 3-point percentage on the team right now. I mean, he may not be shooting 100 of them, but at the same time, you know, he's shooting the highest on the team. You know, we're all happy for him, especially like if Rob was to have a big game, we'd be happy for Rob. That's the way our team is kind of built. We just got to put it together, keep putting it together.
Rob, I'm sort of interested in your high school route. You were homeschooled your last 2 years. It's not something that a lot of Division I prospects do. Were you nervous at all that would affect your recruitment, or did you think with AAU ball and with what you're doing while you're homeschooled that everything was going to be fine in that aspect? Just kind of what was going through your mind as all that was going down?
Honestly, I bet it on myself and I put my trust in God, first and foremost. When it came up, COVID was around, things were going like in a turmoil. Didn't really know how high school basketball was going to look. It was just, I took a step out on faith and I trusted God. I prayed about it. Me and my mom sat down and talked about it. Me and my coaches talked about it. And that was like, if you believe in yourself and you put the work in, I mean, anything is possible. So when they told me that, I was like, oh, I just got to do my part. And I went in and did my part. I dedicated a lot of time. I was in the weight room. I changed my body, changed my eating habits. I started working out more. And from there, it was just like go out on the court and perform. And the homeschool did a great job of giving me a schedule. I mean, I played everybody that I could think of. I played Duncanville. Like, I've seen all of them schools. So they put me on a platform to be successful. And that's how that went.
What's the best part of being homeschooled, and what's the worst part of being homeschooled?
The worst part, I start with that. The worst part is probably just coming from public school. You don't get to interact with as many people. It's kind of just like you school. You know, you have a few other people that's being homeschooled, but it's kind of just like you have your teammates. You don't get to interact. You don't get to have a little lunch, you know, where you meet up with all your homies. It's nothing like that. But the best part was probably just being able to get to myself, to find myself. And then it also gave me the time to sit down and really like dedicate some time to the game, find my love for the game, and make that decision on what I really wanted to do. And I feel like when I went homeschool, it really opened my eyes. Like, okay, I can really do this. It gave me more time to work out. It gave me time to put into my body, less distractions. I mean, so that was the best and worst part of it.
Do you feel like it helped you, in a way, it kind of sounds like with the schedule you're talking about, do you feel like it helped you grow up a little bit? Like most high school kids, they're thinking about, you know, their friends, so what they're doing the weekend and stuff like that. Do you feel like with that schedule, you kind of had somewhat of like a pro mindset as a high schooler, maybe?
Very much. It was very similar to college, because actually I was taking college classes. So it was very similar to college. I went to class in the morning, then from there, it was like, okay, now you got to go to the gym, now you got to do your homework, get you some rest, you wake up in the morning, you do the same thing. So it was very, like, when I got to college, it wasn't like a real shock. It was like, okay, this is the same life I was living. Like, just stay in routine and pick it up. Like,
when you were going through your recruitment, did coaches ever ask you about that? Like why you were homeschooling and what, like, I don't know, ask you to sort of walk through why you did it and how you were able to sort of get better through that?
For sure. I mean, it's not a common route. A lot of people don't do it. So it was always a common question. You know, it was just always the same answer. I didn't know what hoop was going to look like when COVID came around. And my mom was big on grades, like, and so she was like, we need to do the best thing for us. And so she was like, this is the best route that I feel. And so we came to the same, you know, agreement. So that's why we did it. But yes, definitely, that was a big question.
Before you homeschool, what did somebody tell you about you playing at this level?
Before I was homeschooled, I was told that if I went homeschool, I would be like mid-major maybe at best. But before I went homeschooled, I was getting invites to, like, I couldn't even get like a Division II scholarship. Like, it was rough. That's why I said I really bet on myself when I went homeschool. It was just, you know, like, I didn't really have, to answer your question, bro, it wasn't much support, bro. It was just a bet on myself type of thing, bro, and I made the best of it.
So do you feel like you got better because you were dedicating that time, because you were homeschooled? Do you feel like, I bet you felt like you should have been getting looked at more as a freshman and sophomore, but do you feel like your game expanded a lot after you became homeschooled?
For sure. I went homeschooled and I was put in a different light. I was forced to become like a leader. I was forced to, you know, put myself in uncomfortable positions. So you feel me, like when I went to the gym and stuff, I was actually working on stuff that I was actually having to translate to the game. And as I got older and I matured, homeschool helped me mature. I went back and looked at my film and I realized like I really wasn't the player that I thought I was. And that's what really like grew me. Like, I looked at where I came from and where I was, and I was like, it's the dedication and the work, like, simple as that.
Because Khalil asked you that question, I assume this is something, I assume you guys talk, I don't know, somewhat deeply about things. How tight is this team, sort of? It seems odd because, you know, you guys are coming from all over the place, and this is your first year here, but just kind of how tight is this group, do you think, for either of you?
This group is super tight. That's funny that he asked me that because it was actually a conversation that we had earlier in the year. We sat down and we, you know, opened up to each other about, you know, different life difficulties that we had and stuff. And that was one of the things that I brought up to them. So that's actually crazy that you remember that. So that just shows, that goes to show how tight we really are.
Khalil, you mentioned, you said that community aspect, being able to walk around and people stop you or say, hey, I know that person. That was something you were looking forward to. How often, if ever, did that happen before coming here? At what point would you have those same interactions?
Honestly, I've always had a tight niche with the community because that's just the type of person I am. I'm a joyful person. I'm always try to make sure the person to the right of me is always, or left of me is always going to be doing, better than me. I'm going to try to, uplift everybody around me. So that's kind of, always how I've been. So even in my last situation, it was it wasn't as because I was in Philadelphia, so it's a little different than being in Stillwater. But, the people there, same thing. It's just here it's more interactions and different things like that. But for the most part, it's kind of the same.
What's been the most surprising? Obviously you've talked a couple times, not just today, about I've never experienced this before, or I never thought. Is there and maybe it's the one over Iowa State.
Right.
Is there a moment if you had to pick one thing that you're that was the coolest or most surprising thing that there was a time I didn't know I'd ever get to experience that? Is there something that stands out?
I mean, for the most part, it's definitely the Iowa State. It's 4 games left in the season. It's my senior year. I'm thinking I've never, had a court storm. That was something that, I wanted to come here and maybe experience. So the fact that happened, that was, just amazing. But at the same time, you think back to the summertime and when we was really, really in the trenches struggling, and it's J. Cole said, there's beauty in the struggle. So that's the biggest thing about it. I didn't know what I was getting into, but once we got into it, and I had a bunch of guys around me that was kind of on the same page as me, and then we're all putting it together. That was a big thing, definitely. But outside of that, Stillwater's great. It's not too loud. It's not too much going on. It's somewhere here where I can, lock in. It's not too many distractions. So outside of the basketball piece, I loved it.